Something a little different this week. As part of my job, I do a lot of drone work and small adverts. I was lucky enough to be invited out to do a project for Andy from Sailrite. Andy, who runs the company Sailrite, has a coded 36 Sigma yacht which I was invited out on. Not only is he a yacht master, but he also runs courses to train the yacht master trainers, so very, very experienced. I have primarily learned my sailing skills from YouTube, books and asking people, so this was a great experience for me to get some first-hand tips.
I'm sailing! I'm sailing! I'm sailing!
We were lucky enough to have a fantastic day with a wonderful sailing wind and blue skies in and around Plymouth Sound. Part of this project involved landing my very expensive drone on a tiny little rib. Although this may look very simple, it's not, but great experience.
Okay, so what we're going to do next, team, is we're going to sail off the anchor. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to get our mainsail up, because we're sitting head to wind. If you look at the anemometer at the top of the mast, or the arrow, so we're going to get the mainsail up. We need to make sure that the main sheet is off, so that there's going to be no power getting into the mainsail at all. We'll then shorten up the anchor line, and then what we'll need to do is angle the boat, so effectively we zigzag, we tack up to the anchor, and that makes the life of the person on the front a little bit easier. So we'll bear away, harden up. As you go through the tack, that's the time when we'll start pulling in the anchor line, and then once we've got off to the other side, when we tack again, we'll hold it fast, and then through the tack pull it in. And what we'll end up doing is tacking up to the anchor, so that then we can pull it up and then carry on sailing. So at that point, we'll then, once we've got the anchor back on board, pull the jib out and carry on going. So Tom, you'll take the helm for doing that manoeuvre, but what it'll take is a bit of effort from all of us just to get the mainsail up. Nigel, if you can look after the main sheet, please. Tom and I'll get the mainsail up. Okay. So we'll get the sail ties off, make sure everything's ready to go. We've got lots of clear water, lots of clear area, wind's coming in that direction, so we'll start really nicely to do that. And we'll get this sail up, and then we'll have a go at doing that. All right. All right. Okay, that's us, that's up. Okay, anchor's off the, yeah, ready to tack?
Alright, try and tack around.
Yeah.
You alright there, Cap?
On board.
Good. Past the
There we
bow.
are.
Good.
Anchor up, sailing.
I like it when the captain pulls the anchor.
It's the only way, Tom.
Wave, you miserable scurvies!
Them that died was the lucky one.
Come on!
And the first thing we do is we point at the buoy in the water. Now, we are relatively short-handed here.
Okay.
The sail's going to come round, and this is our emergency stop. It's not a crash stop, it's an emergency stop. And what actually it does is it just slows the boat down. So you can see that everything has calmed down now. If we're going to call this a point of sail, it's a full reach. It just means that we're sailing slowly with our headsail on the wrong side. Now, we're never going to get back to the person at this stage, so what we need to do now is start the engine. So Nigel, we'll start the engine. We want to make sure that the engine is running before we start taking any sails down. Tom's now putting the dam buoy in the water. This is so we can mark the person. We need to be able to see where they are. Now what we need to do is furl our jib. So Nigel will take the sheet off, let the jib flat, get on the furling line, pull it in. That's it. A good team effort there now. Now we've still got the buoy off behind us, and we've got the dam buoy, that's absolutely fine. So the next thing to do is to turn the boat up into the wind. And the crucial bit with this is to pull the main sheet in as you're going through the wind. And that makes, especially on a windy day, that makes it much easier to pull the sheet in. Now we're using the engine. Man overboard is an engine exercise. So Tom's now going to get on the engine, and he's going to position us, beam on, 90 degrees to the man overboard. You can see our dam buoy, and you can see our person in the water. So the key here is to work out where 90 degrees to the wind is. And we've got an arrow at the top of the mast, or we've got an arrow on the dials in front of us. What we want to do is we want to slow the boat down, because we will get a little bit of drive out of the sail. So we just want to slow the boat down and stop when we're beam on. Nigel's ready with his lasso. That needs to go underneath the bottom rail in order to be in the right position when we actually get to the person. So what Tom will do now is he'll use his engine, and we'll go for the person, because that's the one we want. The dam buoy we can pick up later. Tom will now use the mainsail, which we've pulled in really tight, so it's giving us very little forward drive. Use that sail to blow us down to the person. The good thing about this manoeuvre is that we can see the person all the time. The helmsman's here, the person in the water is there. It's really easy for them to communicate if necessary, and really easy for Tom to make sure the person arrives at Nigel's feet. And then Nigel's ready with his lasso now. You can see it's nice under control. The boat's already leaning towards the person in the water. And hopefully what we can do is lasso the person. Now we can work out how we're going to get them out of the water. We've got a handy billy down below. We can put that onto a sheet and we can pull them up. But it might be that if we've got a few hands, when we've got the guardrails down, what we can do is to actually reach over and pull them back in. It might be that we can't do any of that, and what we do is we get that lifeboat that's on its way to come out and help us get that person out of the water. But you'll probably end up saving their life by having them secured to the boat and then not losing them somewhere. Maybe on it's a nice lovely flat day today, but if it's choppy, quite quickly you can lose somebody. So tie them onto the guardrail, they're nice and safe and secure there. Now we can assess the situation and work out how we're going to get them back on board. Get in there now. Yeah. Perfect. Actually steer us in there. Spring. Cold beer, chaps. Very well done today.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers. You're very welcome. To your good health.
Is there anything special, Andy? Can I use my boat to train people at all?
In order to train people on board a boat and take paying passengers on board, your boat has to be coded. And if you think about your boat, then has to be like a bus. You know, you expect your bus to be commercial when you take a ride from A to B. You can't just put people in your car and charge them to go from A to B. And it's the same with boats. So the Department of Transport, which is effectively run by the MCA, has a coding system, and the coding goes from Cat 0, which is ocean going, down to Cat 6, which is an exemption for RYA power boats and dinghies. So Gilkin, the vessel we're on now, she's a Cat 2 coded vessel, which means that she can go 60 miles from a safe haven, and safe havens are listed on the MCA website. So it's not just from any cove or bay, but it's 60 miles from a nominated safe haven anywhere in the world, effectively.
One thing, when I got my new boat, I was totally green, knew nothing about my boat. Would it be possible to charter you to come on my boat and give me a day's skipper and help me get used to a new boat? Is that the kind of thing you could do?
Yeah, as a sailing centre, an RWA training centre, I can do that, no problem at all. So that falls under own boat tuition. I've got experience in lots of different types of sailing
Andy,
vessels.
thank you very much for today. Wonderful tutoring, and I have learned a lot, especially about man overboard. That is worth doing. Thank you.
You're very welcome, thank you very much. Look forward to having you on board again soon.